That was the thought that ultimately Chinese stocks would be delisted from the United States. Do you still believe that? Do you believe that more strongly?
Absolutely. I think the SEC has made it very clear that I think Gensler said the clock is ticking for them to abide by audit rules. And just using Alibaba, ticker BABA, as an example, they've got a growing cloud computing business. If they sign some contract with the Beijing municipality, that would have to be available for U.S.-based auditors to review in order to sustain the U.S. listing. Would Beijing allow that to happen? I wonder. So I don't think they're going to meet the audit requirements, so I think they will be delisted. Now, there'll be plenty of opportunities to buy Chinese stocks in China on their markets, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Shenzhen, and I think Tim makes a good point that they do want to open those markets to people, but that doesn't mean they have any support for the U.S.-listed Cayman companies like Alibaba, Baidu, and the other ones, which are just structures designed to circumvent their own regulations that prohibit foreign investment in internet and telecom companies.
Are these all shorts then?
I think they are. I think that you probably do have some opportunities to trade them like you have in the last couple of weeks, but I wouldn't want to be left holding the bag as these guys continue to attract fire from Beijing in terms of regulations. We talked about the video games. We talked about issues with data privacy. We've talked about all kinds of other issues in China, as well as being in the crosshairs of Washington. Just there's a lot of other great places to be for emerging market exposure. You don't need to be in U.S.-listed Chinese news.
All right. So if not U.S.-listed Chinese stocks, David, then where?
Well, there are some very good international companies that are listed in New York, easy to get to. I'd point to SEC, which is SE, which is an online financial services, gaming company and shopping company that has good operations throughout Asia and Southeast Asia. I'd point to Cemex, CX, the Mexican building materials giant. They sell more in the U.S. than they do in Mexico, and quite a lot around the world. So a great way to play booms in housing around the world, as well as getting some exposure to these other economies like Mexico, Indonesia, Taiwan, other places where you want to be.
All right, David, good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
David Riedel, Riedel Research. I'll pose the same question to you, Tim. If not China, then where? And what do you think of his picks?
Yeah, I love David's work, so I'm always listening to what he has to say. I like Brazil a lot here. I talked about India a couple weeks ago, so let me go in a couple different directions and to what Nadine said about some of these global banks. Look, Banco Itaú and Banco Bradesco, I think are two of the best-run banks in the world. If you buy the EWZ, you're buying the ETF that gets you Brazil. I also think if you look at normalized rate environment and also currency environment, but getting back from COVID depths. Look at what happened to the BRL, the Brazilian real, and where I think you have a major move. Remember, when you're investing in emerging markets, 50% of your return profile is typically your currency. And I think there's actually a pretty decent tailwind for the Brazilian real, especially in a world where iron ore prices and oil prices are where they are and where I think they're going to stay for the foreseeable. So check out the EWZ. Really like Brazil here.